Alligator Blood on the outside. Raced up in the lead. He raced away. He's going to win the Stratty.
Right, Gypsy Goddess in front, and Gypsy Goddess has won the Oaks. Kamantari's flying. Got up. Oh, big win special, K.
All right, we'll be in the shows on the road. The mugs are back.
We're getting video now.
Surprise. Here we are. We're back for another very successful week there, boys, because last week we just hallelujah'd Golden Boom to win. And gee whiz, it did it. So, cleaned up. You're welcome there, mugs. But Lloydie, I'll toss to you first, mate, because I'll give you a little bit of a stat. Ran the fastest 1,000 on the day.
Yeah.
Which means it beats La Palmiere's time, who's another jump and lead horse. So you're going to get a true indication. But that was actually the Swiss Ace plate, which is a listed level. So this thing that's a 3-year-old in a handicap comes out and beats the best horses on the day, in inverted commas. Yeah. Sky could potentially be limits.
Yeah, obviously the time backed it up really, didn't it? I thought, you can't expect him to win as easy as what he did on a Sunday in a maiden company on debut. He obviously still put 2 or 3 links on them on the weekend. I thought, not as impressive, but you look at what he beat. Johnny Rocker ran second. He was huge. He'll be, I reckon he'll be winning the buffering or the whatever race it is next week back at Doom, and the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings. He'll be winning that.
Well, just on that comparison, those two would have finished first and second in the Swiss Ace if you're just going classic time for time mimic.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
that's how quick even Johnny went too. So
he's a good horse.
Which just stacks up both cases, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. But no, Golden Boom, very exciting. I don't know. I was out with one of the owners actually on Saturday night. Jared Wessel, and he said, I hope he goes. He said, I actually want him to go to the paddock and be put away and come back in the winter kind of thing. But sounds like they'll go a race in a fortnight or something. So
yeah, there's a listed name escapes me at the moment.
Buffering or the
something like that. But the King of the Mountains probably not on the cards.
No.
So I think
Surely not.
the camps.
Kill the horse.
Well, I think that's the intention is get one more run. But put him away because he's a gelding. He's going to race for the next 4 seasons.
Yeah.
You're probably looking at. He'd
He'd
probably be the Everest favourite right now.
I think he's $51 in the Everest, or $41 in an Everest.
There you go. Wow, 2 starts, eh?
It's just ludicrous how
It
they
is,
do that.
yeah.
There's no value in anything anymore.
Well, that'll blow bloody Giga Kick and Nature Strip's price out to $3 then, won't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Unreal.
Happy days.
Yeah, so it was a big weekend at the Sunny Coast, and Bean, your favourite trainer, Will Holbert, Hail Manhattan, mate. What a win. It's the horse has been flying for about 12 months now, and I think Will probably got sick of saying that to us when we ask him every week if it's going to win. But saluted pretty comfortably in the end.
Yeah, it was real tough. It was about, 3 or 4 wide it was in behind them sort of around the corner, but peeled off 3 or 4 wide and then was just way too strong. It normally sort of favours inside rail anyway there at the Sunny Coast. So it was pretty impressive, the fact that held them off, and I didn't have a penny on. I don't think any of us did, which was good at the $2,081 to 1 or whatever it was.
Close enough.
But good work team, and exciting times ahead. Hopefully another few listed winners coming up for the stable.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, especially
won,
the Benalla Classics. So.
Yeah. He's won 480,000.
Yeah, he's been a good horse, hasn't he?
Not cutest, and also broke a track record in that race on Saturday too. So. No sledge. That's what I was talking to Will on Tuesday morning over at the trials for Mystic Aroma, and he goes, "Did you back many on the weekend?" I said, "No." I said, "Well, we didn't get the tip from you, mate." I said, but in hindsight, going back looking through it, I said a horse like him with 57 kilos against Linthorpe Lad without revenge. I said we're probably stupid not to be on it at the price. Really, you back him in a Wheatwood and a Gold Market and all these other sort of black type races at Doomben, and
he gets in against these absolute.
Well, the horses of the now kind of field, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we even said the field was a little bit weak on the podcast. I think we were like, how's it favourite?
I think he's won 2 listed races that track and trip, hasn't he? Anyway.
I can't even remember who we tipped, to be honest. It was that.
You were on Gave Us Up, I was on Without Revenge, and they
Gave Us Up ran last.
12th and 13th.
Yeah, good. All right, we're flying.
Yeah.
Absolutely flying. Look, Hail Manhattan was flying, and you're right, Ben. It just, the stable's in form.
I think he goes to Sydney next too. Hail Manhattan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Ingham.
The Ingham.
By the sounds of it. Group 2, $2 million race. Good luck.
Good luck to them.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably not a bad little shoot for the stars.
Why
you know?
not? Gets
Why
you a
not?
run in the Doncaster if you win it.
Woo!
1.1 to the winner.
Do you reckon if Hale Manhattan wins, we could pull a fine cotton and take Mystic Aroma there and put him in place, and
In the
we get
Doncaster.
the money? I think does that work?
Sure.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Anyway, well, we'll move on, Bean, and look, mate, pat on the back to you, because for those big Bazinga fans, Bean is in charge of our midweek preview, and a lot of time and effort obviously goes into him, as you would have seen there last Wednesday. But punting's one of those games, mate. It's an arseholes game, meaning everyone has one, and some of them stink worse than others. But you've got a bit of a theory, which we're going to open up, and because it's one of those
I'm not
things
getting into it.
with punting, though,
apparently I
mate.
sprayed yesterday.
If you've got a punting theory, if your head and your cogs turn enough that convinces you this is the way to do it, as you saw yesterday, you can be right. So tell us your theory. Maybe Lloydie and I will think of one that we have in our heads. And remember, all these theories are not backed up by any stats whatsoever, which is what makes them
I
great.
think we probably can move on.
No, we want to. The people, mate. They want to see the Bazinga in process.
The theory is my theory is my theory is rail out gives the horse a chance to run on. I think it's probably more around where the best ground is, and it's probably more to do with that necessarily than the horses are running further or less and that kind of thing. I think it's to do with the quality of the ground. Where the rail is probably what I'm referring to with that theory.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Gold Coast is rail on the true on Saturday. I think they'll be all.
So what does this mean for your theory?
They'll be all on
Where do you want to
How do
bet?
the cogs turn here?
They'll be all
Are
on,
we
they'll
leading?
be
Are we-
on pace and leading, because that's the fresher, better ground, and coming wide's going to be harder to do. So I would have thought advantages the horses.
Yeah, but
Even
it's
though the
Gold-
horses
just
that
the
are back
Gold
don't have
Coast,
to
the
run
way
as
that
far,
the way that
but
the track
yeah,
campers at
yeah.
the Gold Coast though, they tend to often sort of come off the fence into the middle of the track. So with the rail back into the true,
Not with the rail back in the true, they won't.
but where the track campers out, with the rail back into the true, does that not mean that the horse is swinging into the middle of the track, or where the rail would have been true last week in that A ground?
I don't know.
It's a shit of a track. I think we say it every week.
Well, it ends up they come bloody to the outside fence anyway. The Gold
Why have we
Coast
got
every
metro
meet, so-
races at the Gold Coast?
Well, this must be just a
This is-
weird
this
kind of year,
Tatts-
because
It's-
there's two, like Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, 2 Metro Saturdays. It just must be the deal to
It's
give.
just yeah.
Because Eagle Farm's out of play at the moment. It's having the freshen up.
Yeah.
We've been at Doom in the last 2, plus next week I think it's
Yeah.
Doom and midweek up.
And then I think we get Fridays and
But you almost just sort of go one in all in, right? Like have this 2 weeks or 3 weeks of Doom and Eagle Farm are out, and maybe have it Metro
yeah.
Wednesday and Saturday at these tracks.
Yeah.
I should have brought it
Off-season
up at the
racing.
AGM, to be completely honest, the other day.
We should
But
have.
My theory for a while has been, you look at Sydney, Rose Hill might have one Wednesday race a year, but their Wednesday meetings are always like Canterbury, Warwick Farm, Kenzo, and then the Saturdays are Randwick and
Rose
Rose
Hill.
Hill.
Kenzo, there's a track they should just put nails in and burn. I hate that. I hate
Not
that
the
track.
point though, Alex.
When the rail's out, it's
When
good
the rail's
day.
out, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, we overuse Eagle Farm and Doomben between Wednesdays, or we go to fucking Ipswich.
Yeah.
Ipswich.
So keep the Wednesday outside of Brisbane.
Yeah.
Leave the
Have
premier
it
tracks to be premier
GC,
tracks.
Sunshine Coast.
Sunshine Coast.
Even take one to Toowoomba for all I care.
I mean, and it wouldn't
Wednesday half.
it wouldn't impact the members, because
We
on
don't
a
get to
Wednesday
go
you
into
don't
the
get
members area
members
anyway.
access anyway,
Yeah.
do you?
No.
So,
And then keep Doomben and Eagle Farm Saturdays.
yeah, it's probably not a bad point.
Not
Might
bad
have avoided track issues.
I think the fact is that it's the BRC, it's just Doomben and Eagle Farm, whereas Sydney, it's the Australian Turf Club and they own all of those
Yeah.
tracks.
Yeah.
So BRC gets their 80 or 90 meetings a year. But anyway,
Well, Lloydie, fingers crossed. Judy in the old part of the member stand gets the chair legs cut down to size.
we can only
We
hope.
get that action first,
Yeah,
and
take
then
the
your
chainsaw,
2
mate.
cents can be put forward.
Yeah.
So, Bean, speaking of, before we crack into a cracker day's racing, this is the plan. If we just talk shit for half an hour, we don't have to talk about Gold Coast.
Yep.
You missed the AGM last week, mate. Lloydie and I were Mug representatives.
Yep.
We're trying to get our hands on the meeting minutes, because some of the people that we've talked to about what goes on at these meetings, they just haven't believed the word we've said. So, yes, we're talking food temperatures, not ideal. Stool heights, not ideal. Some poor bloke split his head in Racecourse Road, but apparently that had to be brought up at the AGM.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our suggestions are actually legit. Just get pushed to the side.
Yeah, if
because
we've got
everyone wants to get out
any
of it.
carpenters listening, how would you go about getting stools and tables shorter? Like, do you simply lob off an inch off the bottom of each leg?
The suggestion was just bring a power saw in one Saturday and just cut them all to size.
Cut them all to size.
And
Or
then
do you
good to go.
simply just buy new stools?
No, can't be right, mate.
Because I think
So
there's a bit of a
the
wobble.
big issues were discussed.
They were.
They were.
They were.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, look, we'll stay away from Queensland for a minute because last week the West turned it on, and again, this is the Bean Rap show.
It is, isn't it?
He declares pretty much every bet he ever has, but he declared tricks of the trade something different. When you Group 1 confident, you're confident.
You're confident, yeah.
This week, mate, and it was you were never in doubt watching the run.
No,
So
it was home a long way.
it was
out.
home a long way out. I thought Search and Rocks was going to absolutely storm home, but I think when they move sideways on the vision, it looks like they're flying, but they're actually just moving maybe a bit of an optical illusion with the camera lens.
Yeah,
because-
well, it didn't have to worry me because Yonkers was 5 lengths off the second last horse the entire way,
Yeah.
and Carly's Karma was the first horse beaten. So I was just like, oh well.
well, wrong. You wanted a Quinella.
Go
You just had the wrong end of the Quinella, I'm
Yeah.
afraid.
Yeah.
But Winterbottom Stakes, mate. So, of course, we're not going to give out your location, and here we are, because you might get a few angry physics people with rail movements and whatnot, but we're on Elite Street. There's 3 in the market that we're talking here, and I reckon we're all maybe one of the each. Elite Street, Balana, and our local hero, Rothfire's over there. They're all around that 4 to 6 mark, 1,200 metres, Ascot. Pace will be on, for sure. Bean, you're on fire, mate. How are you reading this race?
Miss Conteki for me.
All right, jumped off all the pace. Yeah, right.
I have a futures ticket on Valina, so I wouldn't be upset if it won. I think it's a genuine chance. But in terms of the local runners, Miss Conteki on top has a pretty good record at the trip. I think you mentioned it. There's just way too much pace in this race.
Oh,
Like it
everywhere.
comes from everywhere. Like Rothfire Valina goes forward. This will test you. Palele likes to be handy. Astrologist, Red Can Man, Snipperucci draws 1, so surely it leads.
Yeah.
But 56.5 kilos. I mean, it's done absolutely nothing wrong, but it's just gonna have horses left, right, and centre. Massimo will go forward. Like it's crazy pace. So for that reason, Miss Conteki, I'm not with Elite Street. I know Mozza is, and I'm half a fan. But Carberry for the Simon Miller team. Amelia's Jewel was pretty good last weekend, and I think he can pick up a Group 1 here. So it has been up. The only query is it's been up for what's this fourth run in the prep, but it's gone 1,000, 1,100, 12. So it just looks like it's been the plan the whole time. Like it's not sort of an afterthought or anything like that. This has been the go, and it's been kind to me over the last little period. So $12, $13 each way all day.
Well, mate, I'll jump in before Lordy tries to come home. Make it short and sweet, because I said this pretty much 2 weeks ago, but
But you have your local form.
we do. The locals, mate. It's their race to lose, and they're not going to lose it. Because if you like Miss Kentucky, however you want to call it, you got to like Elite Street.
Yep.
They came through that same race, mate. I think Elite Street was coming a little bit better. 3 from 3 second up. So I knew first up, even though I tipped it to the world, that it needed the run. And it looked like a horse that loved the run. The step up here to the 1,200. Won this race before. Yeah, I'm still chips in with the Elite Street.
Yep, fair enough. Interesting sort of stat here in terms of your locals and whatnot. Like I think going back to probably 2005, ignore the last 2 years because you didn't really have any in East State horses going over for due to COVID.
Who won it? Haydock? Did that win it?
He's won it, but like it's literally been Tony and Calvin McAvoy, Weir, Lloyd Kennewell, Gary Moore, Heathcote, Paul Massara.
What did he get? He's got the
Raiders.
Buffering won it twice.
Buffering. He won it.
Hortensia's won
Not
it
back
twice.
to back. He won it like 2-3 years later.
Yeah,
Buffering.
he did. Yeah, 2013.
Who Kennewell had in it? One of those.
Fedora.
Oh, Fedora.
Yeah.
Good horse, that one.
So like the Eastern
That was
State
a horse I
horses.
caught a bit.
Yeah. Eastern State horses have a good record. That's where I'm going. I'm a big fan of Valana. I really like this horse. Yeah. forget his Golden Eagle run, even though it was a cracker given where he came from. But then last start in the Hunter, he was able to sit one out, one back. Beautiful ride by Nash Rawiller over 1300, and he was there at the end. Plenty of speed. When the barrier draw came out and he drew 12, I was slightly concerned. I thought, ooh, and then I had a look, and there's a lot of speed.
Outside him.
Well, outside him, but also like low couple of draws, like 1 to 5 sort of barriers. If he's in the first 6, I'll eat my hat. I just think he's going to be 7th or 8th in the running line, getting that perfect run, and he'll be, Rothfire will be there, and he'll probably have a little head start over your two, Elite Street and Miss Kentucky. And I think
they're closer in the run than both of them.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. And I think the 13 back to the 12 isn't really an issue. James Cummings has said that he's, working the house down. He's got that sharpness in his legs that he hasn't had the past season or two. I think he's a great bet. Jamie Carr on. That's got to be positive, really.
Okay, Nash.
Oh, yeah, but
No
Nash isn't
way.
there.
Nash isn't there, mate.
Nash.
Yeah, I know, but that's a step down from Nash.
Oh,
Way they're
Yeah.
right at the moment. There's
Yeah,
no way.
but
I'd
it's-
have Nash on
yeah,
every
but
week.
would you have Jamie Carr, or I'll throw you under the bus, Brad Rawiller or Pat Carberry? I know they're
in
locals,
terms of
it's not like they've been. It's not
I
like they've
think
been.
Brad
stuck with
Marilla only rides well when he was on an Elite Street.
Elite
So
Street, yeah.
that's a push.
Yeah, I'd rather have Jay Carr.
Hadn't he dropped off since the whole weird debacle?
He dropped off to another state, mate.
Went back to Perth, and I think he's ridden 3 winners in about 4 years.
Yep. 2 of them have
One
been
of them,
Winterbottoms, not Elite
Elite
Street.
Street. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is Rothfire's not Magic Millions, is he? Because
Actually, no, he might have been.
you reckon they might back him up for the sprint? Magic Millions
He's had a
sprint?
long
Because Fedora
Just
did
keep
that
running
one. But Rob Heathcote doesn't know when to stop, mate.
Yeah.
He loves racing his horses.
Yeah, I guess it's a fair point.
Fedora did it a few years ago.
He's
That's
not really
what
run
I'm thinking.
poorly though.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
when
no,
you think
he's
about the
super
runs,
horse.
like he was in
Yeah.
behind what
When you think he
Bella
probably
Nicotina and
lucky not
stuff
to have
like
been
that.
put down, or
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Righto, well there you go, Mugs.
Yep.
3 different Group 1 WA mines, and just remember, Pikey is on the Astrologist, so that won't win. Anyway, let's move on. But we're going to go back to the Gold Coast. So we're going to be at the Gold Coast quite a bit the next couple of bloody weeks, that's for sure. We've got this meet, and then pretty much we stem into, are we back at Brisbane next week?
We are.
We are.
Chinny Boom's back.
Chinny Boon's back, but that leads us into the Summer Series, which comes into Magic Millions, Magic Mountain, King of the Mountain.
King of the Mountain.
So, you know what they say,
Yep.
Queensland versus Queensland, which is what we want.
Well, that's why I've got them.
What's that New Year's Day?
Mickey Costa.
New Year's
New Year's
Eve,
Eve,
mate.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve.
But we won't get there yet. We're going to get through the Gold Coast. So we've got 2 listed races.
Yeah.
Tatts meeting. One that I want to quickly touch on, Mugs, is a bit of an open slather today because we're not too keen of the race day.
Yeah.
Race 2 is your 2-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a stat put up throughout the week. They only had 7 noms anyway, but 2 Queensland 2-year-olds, 125,000 up for grabs is the pool here in the 2-year-old racing. 6 of them from interstate. What are your thoughts maybe on the current racing landscape here in Queensland and why there aren't 15, well, we don't want 15 Mashanis, but it's why we're getting 15 Mashanis every week.
Well, whoever decided it would be a good idea to put a 2-year-old debutant race on Magic Millions Day should be shot.
Wasn't us, mate.
It wasn't
No,
us.
thank God.
It's just completely ruined Queensland 2-year-old racing. Like, seriously.
Oh,
to agree.
because of that.
Because
Because
horses are-
of the bonus. So
because-
they're just,
well,
they're
it's
just
like
not running.
500
Oh, yeah, that's that when they're first up into it, isn't it?
500,000
Yeah, that's
for
right.
debutants. And
Yeah.
apparently it goes off, there's specific trials, that if you win the specific trials, that's how you get into the field, because there's obviously no ballot order, they're all debutants. So
I didn't know that was the case.
you can't tell me that these barrier
So the-
trials
so
aren't
the-
just going to be 800-metre races.
Yeah, the trials are all just the trials of the races.
Yeah.
Put a 40-kilo apprentice on in the trials and
Just-
let him run along. Like,
Well,
seriously.
You'd almost just gas them and then you get the 4-week let up and you're in this field.
Yeah, but anyway.
Oh, right.
It's just a complete mockery of...
Who writes these racing programs up here in Queensland? Nick?
well, I don't know.
Is it Racing Queensland?
It is Racing Queensland.
The only state that goes to war
Yeah, I
with
know
the
the
state.
tip for it though, but
Yeah.
I did wonder why the field was so small for 2-year-olds. I was
Well,
like,
look
but
at
that's
every
it.
week. Last weekend at the Sunny Coast, there was
Yeah.
5 or 6, and they're the same 5 or 6 horses that raced each other the week before at Eagle Farm. Like, seriously.
Right, just calm down. I just asked a question.
You know what
Oh, I'm
be-
not saying I'm not you. I'm not.
You know what
I'm
would
up
be
the higher powers.
You know what would be a bit of a better idea potentially that the Magic Millions 2-year-old. So how many
$3 million 2-year-old classic for Magic Millions horses?
Oh, just gonna let me finish, or just gonna interject? But why would you not have like how many you line up in that field? There'd be 18.
In the debutant or
The 2-year-old, the 2-year-old classic,
Yeah, I think it's
2-year-old,
18.
whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have like maybe 6 of those slots are almost like winning you're in Queensland races leading up to it? Because then
Well,
you'd encourage 2-year-olds to
yeah.
go to the track. You know, like
Well,
a
look
race
at-
like this, for example, could
Yeah.
almost be a winning you're in, like
Yeah.
exempt from the prize money balloting sort of
Yeah,
system.
well, you look at a horse like
Yeah,
Heroic Sun for the Holberts last year. He won the first 2-year-old race in Brisbane, and he still had to run 2 or 3 times to get enough prize money to get in, because you have horses like in Sydney, for example, like Exhilarates, when she came up and won it, she had enough because she won a race at Sydney that paid 200,000. So you look at that. I mean, obviously we've got our BJ McLaughlins and our Callaway Gals and stuff that the listed
But they're
races,
all
like
they're all sort
prize
of
money.
they're in timing wise. They're only there. That's the run before the big dance kind
exactly.
of thing.
You
like,
look at this time of year now.
well, that's right.
But like, I'm sure when like horses like Got a Kiss won this sort of time of year, she was beating big fields. Like, it wasn't 4 horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 5 of these horses that are from Sydney are accepted in New South Wales on the weekend. It could be 2 horses.
Could be. That'd be absolute
I'll
show and a half.
I'll
wouldn't
probably
it?
still get it wrong.
That's my rant.
All right. Well, Lloyd, we'll keep you burning, mate. Because when you're
Yeah.
passionate, this is where you find winners. And you've already mentioned Chinny Boom once on the show, and she's not even racing this week. But we're going to go through 7 and 8. But was there any other races on the card, Lloyd, that you've scoped out?
Yes.
You can almost say you've honed in on,
I could say I've honed in
and
on.
you found a real good bet for the mugs.
Yes, race 4 at the Gold Coast Punters. Simply won't get beaten, pocket full. Stuart Kendrick, not going all that well, and especially not away from the Sunshine Coast, but KWT, another one, not going all that well.
I guess they're
Yeah.
both due.
However, pocket full. Last start, gone down the lip to a horse called Antino, who came out and blew them away at Doomben on Wednesday. Put 6 lengths on the 3rd horse. They ran home quicker than Golden Boom did the same day. This horse gets there 52 kilos in a fairly weak. I mean, it's not fairly weak, I guess. You've got, who's the horse, Tyresa, who's a listed winner in there, but outside of it, it'll be the better second up. This thing just wins.
Bean, same question to you, mate.
Yeah, race 6, I'm pretty keen on Miss Hipster, to be honest. There's form around our own Mystic E. Roma from way back when. But with thirds to Uncommon James last start, like it was 2.6 lengths off it. Then it's been beaten by Princess Bojack, who at the time was, I think, about 40 to 1 or something like that when I logged that day. But the horse does go half good.
Yeah.
It was that day Ipswich where it's
in,
nipped up
isn't
the inside and that kind of thing.
It's in on the weekend.
And then, you know, other form around Ridiculous down at the down at Doomben as well. So back on a dry track, Barrier 2, Larry Cassidy. I think he gets all the favours. It's just the classiest horse in this race. Absolutely flies fresh and super. I think it's missed once at the Tripper Force. So yeah. I'm pretty keen. Miss Hips $8.50. That's a spoil, surely.
I've just seen here, Cozzy, you know, the little grey.
big white.
The big white.
Yeah.
We tipped it Doomben ran 3rd and 2nd. It's 1 cent at the Gold Coast. $4.
Oh, beauty.
Beauty.
How good.
Yep.
There's a few that sneak in, I've noticed, on the weekends when I don't look at the Gold Coast meet,
And
then I go through
quick
it,
backup.
and then I go through it, and I'm like, oh, you bastard.
Well, I think too. I think
Because
we've
I don't black book them. They're
Yeah.
like, I probably should follow that next start, and
Yeah.
then I don't back it, and then they just pop up, and I'm like, oh, and they might only win at $2 or $3, but that's more winners than I've had for the last year, so I'll take the $2-3.
Yeah.
Right, all right. So we need to get the mug book segment back
Yeah,
next
probably.
week. All
Something
right,
like that,
All right,
yeah.
sounds good. But we probably just scratch Gold Coast out of our minds because they're going through Renault, so you don't really know what's going on. But anyway, Steady Ready's back in race 1. Already got a slot for the King of the Mountain. Race 3 are like a Kiro.
Yeah, I'm keen. I'm keen a Kiro.
I thought
Oh yeah, that's the horse I was keen on. Yeah, it's going to win that race. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, there you go. All right, my tip goes to the Baywater. Well, we'll kick on to race 7.
I'm getting excited. I've never been so excited about GC racing before.
Before air, I said, do you want to go through the whole card or you just want to touch on the listed features? And both of you have never been so quick to say listed features, get the hell off out of here.
Yeah.
And we've just wasted half an hour talking about every other race. This happens every week.
There's one I liked in race 3 called Akahiro.
Oh, well, I like Akira, you like Akahiro. Bean just likes Japanese.
Yeah.
Race 7 though, Tatts Classic, Eureka Stud, whatever it's called, it's a listed race. It's 1,200 metres at the GC. Coco Rocks. Now Bean, I know you've already thrown out some pretty keen bloody words on a few other horses.
Yeah.
I know Coco Rocks is one of yours, but more importantly, is it one of yours this Saturday?
Yeah, look, I'm keen. Back from 2 runs in Sydney. First up was a Moral beaten. I mean, if she goes with them early and actually jumps with half the field, she's a pretty good chance of the 1,200. That's the big query for me. It's just whether she jumps with them. Third up, this trip, I think she can win. I'm pretty keen. Loves a good deck. It's going to be a rock hard good one, or whatever they call that. Do they just call that a concrete one?
I think it
or
goes
something at the
firm
GC. Firm one. It'll be firm one right at the weekend at the GC. But I mean, Amity Gal, like it's in this field, right?
It's got fuzzy form.
How on earth is it $7? You've got Coco Rocks at $4.80 and Wine Diva at $6. Like it is no chance.
Barrier 1,
Surely.
just go.
I mean, it's
What
one,
do
it's
you
one
say
4
about?
from 8.
Oh, the rail's in the tree though, so that'll suit those running on, won't it?
Anyway, yeah, I'm keen Coco Rocks. I know Lloydie thinks he's got a.
Yeah.
I'll hand over to him.
Well,
Yeah,
Lloydie's, I mean, your confidence is through the roof
Yeah,
right now.
his
I'm glad there
confidence
is, and we can't afford the penthouse, but Lloydie's confidence is through the penthouse.
Yeah.
We're in the atmosphere,
He's
mate.
through the penthouse and everything.
Yeah. I just thought Wine Diva. I know she's got to give weight to the rest of the field, but I just thought she's just clearly the class of this field. Where she's 2 starts ago. She's a Group 3.
She is
winner.
clearly the class. That's why she's won in the order. That's why she's at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrying the
There we
top
go.
weight. That's why she's the
Wow,
class.
you just coughed it from here. How do you feel right now?
Oh well,
he's lost his words there, mate. I'm gonna have to step in and.
I just thought she'd be like a $2 chance. Like you're getting $6 about it. You go
She's
back.
overs.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. You're getting $6 about it. Coco Rocks, like it goes good, but comes out of benchmark 78s. One Diva comes out of a Group 3 on Derby Day at Flemington, beaten 3.5 by Asfoora, who people are saying is the next big thing sprinter. Like,
Is that you that's saying that?
no,
No,
because
jeez, you would have said that.
yeah, I just thought this horse is a lot better than them. One that I'll quickly make note of too. I was talking to Ben Thompson on
For name dropper.
talking to Ben on Saturday night at the Leah Kilner charity dinner, which you two weren't at, by the way.
Yeah, we would have loved to have gone.
Yeah.
Maybe you can share your views on the night after your little story.
Yeah, but anyway, so I was just chatting to Ben and I said I was there. Said, have you got much to look forward to over the next couple of weeks, carnival time? And he said, oh, obviously Chinny Boom next weekend. He said, I'm quite excited about that. He said, but I'm actually pretty annoyed. He said, I got suspended. He goes, so he said, the way it works is I miss yesterday's Wednesday, miss this Saturday, and miss next Wednesday. So he's back for Doomben Saturday week.
Yeah.
He said, I was really looking forward to getting back on Canadian Dancer on Saturday at the Gold Coast. He's obviously been on her last 2 starts. He was a listed winner 2 starts back and then ran 5 lengths behind Dynasties and Gypsy Goddess at this track. And then he's been on in both trials and a bit of money, I think 17s into 9s early. So that could be a little bit of stable push as well. The money's obviously there. So one for a bit of value, even though the price is gone, but just thought that was an interesting point to share.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we don't really care about prices on this show anyway, mate. We back them at their bottoms and miss them at their tops anyway.
That's right. Only prices are winning prices, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're sick.
I know. I'm just waiting for you to interrupt me and take my spotlight, mate. I'm gonna go Mimi Lagarde. One last chance. First up, heavy at the Gold Coast. Didn't like the heavy.
Yeah.
Second up, Eagle Farm. Don't know if she's ever run Eagle Farm, but I'm gonna say she.
Yeah, she's won there.
She hated Eagle Farm, I'm guessing that day. But a bit of that class argument there that you had so strongly with one diva there, Lloydie. The class has always been there with this girl.
Yep.
It's just whether she's come back bigger and better, and those were legit excuses the first 2 runs. No excuses. Good track, home track. Andrew Mallion on board. What else can I say?
That's an excuse.
Could be an excuse. We won't ask Will Holbert about his thoughts there.
No.
We want to open that can of worms.
No.
With the, it's just going around at the moment, isn't it? The old moods debacle. Blake McDougall.
It's all happening.
It's all happening, Leave it at that.
I didn't back a horse the other day because Blake McDougall was on it solely because of the mood spray, and he came in and won the race. I thought, oh, great.
You should be allowed to have a go at them though. It's like if you
Well,
do a
you
shit,
do.
if you
Yeah.
but if you do a shit job at work, someone says
There's-
you've done a
Your
poor
boss,
job at work.
your boss.
I
calls
think-
it.
Isn't that all it is?
I think
Or
the
are they
thing is
untouchable?
no. The thing is, I think with that as well, there's a very clear line between a criticism into just a personal friggin' destroying attack, which is what which he went down that path, and you're like, criticise it right. He was like blaming him for rides weeks ago,
Yeah,
and
right.
spraying, calling him a dickhead and all this shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you can
Yeah, the
tell him
language
that,
is
but-
probably not appropriate, but I think you get feedback.
Oh, like
on-
more language the better.
You
But
get feedback on your work though in any job. Isn't that really all it is? If it's
Yeah.
kept that way.
yeah, if it's kept
Yeah.
that way,
But I guess this wasn't kept that way.
Well, no, not when it gets recorded and.
Sent to everyone. Sent to the media.
Yeah, like in that instance, Moods probably did spray McDougall at the track after the race,
Yeah.
and then he's then recorded it and sent it to his owners, and then
Yeah.
like from there, obviously it's out of Moods' control, but
Yeah.
you don't need to then like put that in the voice thing. You can say to the owners, "Oh, I was annoyed with how
I was disgusted with the
disgusted
ride.
with
but,
the ride.
oh,
He didn't
he
follow
won't be on again
instructions."
next time.
Yeah, and it stays like that. But
yep,
But he didn't operate that way.
he did not
Nah.
operate that way.
He
Tom Rem a new one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Probably said the same thing on his podcast.
Yeah. He's
Well,
probably-
you listened to that?
He's
Did
probably
you say
had to
anything?
I haven't
No?
listened to that one. He probably had to apologise on this podcast. I've missed it the last
Probably,
couple of weeks,
probably.
but anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Thank-
I wouldn't be a good horse trainer because I'd end up suspended for sure.
mate, we just like delete the messages of hate. So I mean, they're all attention to you.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just let
That's
you
right.
handle the inbox for a week. Holyfield, Bean.
Yep.
Tatts recognition. You want your recognition? Here it is. Holyfield, absolute bet of the millennium last start. I think Lloydie and myself found it at a good little price.
You and I found it.
That's
He was on
exactly
something
right.
else.
I'm reminding you of that, mate.
I did tip. I think I ended up on Vanderperth.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
tip
he
it.
definitely
Yeah,
ended up
you
there.
did tip on Holyfield.
And-
I can't tell you that, mate.
Well, you could be saved here, mate, because Bandypur isn't in this race.
Last chances.
Holyfield, though, mate, we don't get the price anymore. It goes up to 60 kilos, but I mean, what's gonna take it on from barrier 7, if anything, /
Everything.
half the field that it beat
Yeah.
last time? It lines up here again.
Rubamos will, Emerald Kingdom will go forward. London Banker will probably be handy over the shorter trip. I'm with Kinlock here actually. I think it was a moral beaten first up. Got a beauty from AM who's on again, which is I'm not sure if that's good news or not. But anyway,
Obviously, Chris Lees doesn't give a spray like
yeah,
Moods.
away we go. Barrier 1's probably a bit of trouble, but I think if it can just be handier in the run rather than dragging it back to stone motherless last, perhaps pen and paper, Malian. I'd prefer a bit of rain, but look, I think it can win this race. Holyfield 60 kilos. I just think it's a query with the weight and if it's taken on by Emerald Kingdom and it tries to do what it did when it won, was it 2 back? Was that one? Yeah, 2 back. When it bolted along at Doomben by like 29 lengths. I think it could be in a bit of trouble and Rubamos will probably push forward too. So I just think it's going to get the run of the race. Yeah, pretty keen.
Nice. You called it. Who came second in that race too? Came out at 1 on Saturday at the Sunshine Coast, just to boost your confidence a little bit. Holyfield for me. I don't think it will be in the speed battle if there's going to be one. I just think it just takes the sit off them like it did. And even when it was in the speed battle in the eyeliner from barrier 14, it was miles better than them. I just think the horse is flying. I'd probably be able to recoup the losses from Magic Million Sprint last year. I think it'll be winning that race.
Yeah, second ya. Just think it's class, mate.
Yeah.
Key gear change here is Lloydie on though, man.
Yeah, you're right.
That will stop
It's
on
carrying the
that
weight
one.
of the
Yeah.
nation now.
It'll win the Everest next start when he jumps
Yeah.
off. That's the thing.
Wonderful Riri.
That's been a horse,
Oh,
hasn't
geez,
it?
that's
Yeah.
that's unbackable.
Back with the O'Day.
No, yeah, but went to Joe Pride, back up here now. Last start ran half a length behind Tamerlane, who's since won. I think it's going. I think it's going quite well, and it's gone. You know, like it was beaten 5 lengths to Hope in Your Heart in a Group 3, 2 back. Now it's back here.
It's got to win one before I back.
Oh,
it.
yeah, I probably
Because
couldn't back
I
it,
started
but-
to load up when it was up here for
Yeah.
a period. It's cost me a fortune.
It's had
Well,
one go at Gold Coast for a second.
When it's last prep up here, it ran a blinder.
Yep.
And then I think it might have been Mecca Wednesday. It went around at $1.40 or something and got beat. I think the rail was out that day and they were leading for some reason. Just got too far back and couldn't storm home. But Yeah, frustrating
I'm
horse.
never going to
Yeah.
say anything to do with form again. I'm picking them on colours.
Mate, you're
next
picking
week.
winners. That's all you need
That's
to do,
it,
mate.
mate.
That's right. And look, we'll throw you one out here in the last beam because we'll end with the Get Out Stakes at Gold Coast. A couple of handy races down in Sandown, which we'll touch on. Caulfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sandown at Caulfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One name. What's Sandown doing?
Not sure.
Oh,
They
anyway,
got the Underwood meeting.
that's the swap, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we'll leave.
Makes a lot
Well,
of sense.
here we thought
Yeah.
Racing Queensland's at war with Racing Queensland. It's obviously happening in Victoria as well.
The MRC's at war with the MRC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like at least Peter Volandi's just taking things from everybody and winning. But anyway, shit system to go.
He just names it after an animal and puts some more money towards it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I don't think there is a $4 million pop-up race this weekend, is there?
The cockroach?
Cockroach?
Or is that around State of
Might be
Origin
next week.
time?
Origin time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got Orbison, who I think's just always going to be your favourite, no matter where he ever goes.
For hype.
$4.50.
He's
Yeah.
shite.
But then, you know, Release the Beans is one that just, maybe has he just not come back this prep?
No, he was good last time.
No, it's pretty good
Yeah,
last
was he
time, I
favourite
thought.
again last start?
No, 10
No.
or $15.
Okay, well that answers that question. 15 rounds is a winner though.
Yes.
Julia is a winner though. Rathlin, not really a winner. List goes on a little bit with this kind of field, but Lloydie, in the last, is there anything that you're seeing now that you can share with the mugs?
Yeah, there's a really good bet actually here, and blast out, mate. Horse 11, Subterranean. $21 with our good friends Matt Dunn, Brody Lloyd. Brody Lloyd, we were talking about that yesterday at the track. He's flying.
He is absolutely
He's a
flying.
good jockey. Only 16 Metro winners, but
Why did he come up from Sydney? What was the reason?
there was a
The
few-
Nisham.
Yeah, but
Stable?
also
The weather?
no, I think he might have had a few issues in Sydney with certain crowds that he was surrounded in. So he's up here.
Fresh start, mate.
Fresh start.
Oh, that's
mate.
good.
Yep,
Good
good
on
on
him.
him.
Hanging out with the Toowoomba Mafia now.
Bit
Yep.
of Maloney vibe
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. I think.
Different sort of vibe though.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Cool.
that's
Oh,
all.
good.
That's what I've heard. But mate, fresh start. This sort of like his chance to have a crack at it.
Yeah,
so.
he's killing it.
Well, he looks young too, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he's only a young kid.
Yeah.
Young kid. Yeah, no, but he's a great rider. I thought this horse. Well, first up was good. Beat 4 lengths by Petronius, an extremist in the last race at Doomben that day of the 1200. He's won from one at the track. You may remember he fell in that day. I think it was Ranch Hand who he beat.
Yeah, I backed it that day.
Ranch Hand was really short that day.
I backed Subterranean.
But no, he's just always been a horse I like, and I just think this is a good race for him second up.
Okay.
Fair enough. Alright, Lottie, that's
If
good.
15 rounds drew a gate, I'd be close to declaring him.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
I'm with 15 rounds.
Are you?
I'm
I
real
like
keen.
Julia.
Yeah.
This one.
Misty form.
Misty form. I think this is probably the build up to tackle this kind of a field.
Yeah,
Freeman's
and
done it well.
53 kilos.
53 good mares jockey on board, which helps because she's a mare.
Yeah,
That's
that always helps.
It always does help. Boys, go down to Sandown, which is at Caulfield, which is in Victoria, which is at Rose Hill.
Somewhere.
There's no money really up for grabs though, is it? But
Probably not.
a couple of good races. You've got the Sandown Guineas, which, if you go through, I think's produced, some good horses to either go to Hong Kong or
Yeah.
do this or do that. I think Animo might have maybe not won this race, but
He
won
won the Mercer
debut
Cooper, the
on
two-year-old.
this day, where however many years ago.
Yep.
And you got the Zipping Classic, which is pretty much all those ones that were scratched from the Melbourne Cup. They couldn't get a run or got a bad run in the Melbourne Cup,
Yep.
and they're still up. They're still here. They're ready to go over the distance.
Yep.
Sandown Guineas, boys. Have you had a bit of a look through? If not, I'll tell you who the favourite is, and it's See You in Heaven. Willow on board. Team Jolly. South Australians in town. They get you excited about racing in Melbourne?
no, the race looks like a hunk of crap, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't reckon I've heard of the first 4 in the market, to be honest. I might have heard of See You in Heaven. I don't know who the fortune teller is. Shuriken, never heard of her.
You've heard of Sandpaper
Angry
because we
Skies,
backed that on
Sandpaper I've heard of.
Everest Day.
Yep.
that was good.
King's Consort, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah, no, I won't be betting
Well,
that race.
whilst Bean keeps listing all the names of the horses and learning them, Woody, do you have a tip of the Sandown Guineas?
I'm a big fan of See You in Heaven, Barry 13's Death. I've sort of half been following King's Consort this prep. He won the showdown at this track. He's won from one at Caulfield. On the quick backup now, he flashed home behind Shuriken and Street Delight at Ballarat the other day in one of the Vobis races, and he just looks like a horse that won 1600. If it was at Sandown on the big track, he'd be half this price, I think. Caulfield, that just worries me, even though he's a winner there. He's going well enough to win. Marxist, $35 shot, dominant last start at Pakenham, or wherever they were.
Yeah.
Pakenham, and I think the horse that beat him by 5 lengths the start before that on the synthetic track won on Champions Day at Flemington, and then he came out and won by 8 lengths. So he could be. It's that sort of race that a horse like that could come out and win. But low bunch of animals.
Very low.
Yeah, I won't be betting.
No.
I think if you back the two Godolphin horses, you probably have a win. One's at 13, one's at 15.
Probably.
Doesn't really matter which one's which, does it?
I do think See You in Heaven's she's the best horse in the field. Just
Needs circumstances to go
yeah,
her
I just
way.
think she could get bad luck from 13 at Caulfield.
All right, well, we'll move on to another race, which at least we've heard of some of these horses, which
Yeah,
is
it's
a
a
help.
good start.
So it's a start. We should have just bloody done this one, shouldn't have we been?
Yeah, probably.
Sorry about that. Next week, I know. The Zipping Classic. So Zipping's a horse that won this race, hence why it's named that. Another international. Don't know what Zipping was, but without a fight. Melbourne Cup, probably a bit disappointing. I know I'm saying that because I had a bet on it in the Melbourne Cup. The news is it's staying here with the Freedman yard now, obviously, so get used to seeing the name. $3.40 for an international, which had some pretty damn good form, flopped on its Aussie debut in the Melbourne Cup. Is it just, is that the recipe for a favourite in a race like this when you think that they're primed, trained to the minute to win a Melbourne Cup?
It's
I
just
don't know,
a
it was
dry track.
Yeah, dry track's the key, isn't it? That was what they were talking about all the time. So if that's it, I mean, it's going to lead. There's not really, unless Desert Icon takes it on, there's not really a stack of pressure at Caulfield. That's a query. I mean, Vow de Clare is half a hope back to a good deck as well, but you have to be without a fight. 59 kilos, 2,400, going to lead, dry deck. It'll improve lengths. It was it'll improve 10 lengths on a dry deck.
The
kind
Cup's
of
king
chat.
on board.
I think it wins, doesn't it?
No, I don't. I think it's right in the it's a trifecta hope. You have it in your top three. Zipping won this race four times. The Taj Mahal won it twice. I think Sound can win his third straight. The Zipping Classic.
I'm shocked that he's won 2 of them.
Yeah, I know. That's about the only race he wins. I mentioned last start. I think I backed him in that Queen Elizabeth or whatever it was. He was good. 4th behind Solcombe, who's the Melbourne Cup favourite for next year. Start before that, cracking run in the Caulfield Cup. I thought you mentioned no speed. He led and won last year. This race, I think, from barrier 10 he crosses, dictates. I just thought that. What is he? $12.
How old is he? Like 85 or
10,
something like that. Yeah.
He's still got his nuts. He'll be a stallion prospect.
Gee, he's going to be
That's unbelievable.
$100,000 stallion.
They did the same thing with who was it? Another horse, the Chosen one, a Kiwi.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He's an entire. And there's something else.
Stradivarius is an entire. Yeah, he's
There you
going
go.
to stud.
Right.
Like maybe it's just something in the stays that they're just temperaments
Yeah.
fine and really like.
And he probably never
who's-
really did anything until.
Who's sending horses to a champion stayer these days too? Probably make more money racing.
Yeah, that's it. But I was with him. Kukaracha, the other one I liked.
Well,
Back
Kukaracha
off
on the
the
dry
field,
neck. Well, he seems to do that,
I've
doesn't he?
said 2.
Well, it's one more than I'm picking you, mate, because I'm just picking the winner, and it's per San.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes good things happen to good people, and I'm going to put myself in that category because I've been the Per-San fan from day one this prep to get to a Caulfield Cup, and I don't know why they didn't go there. They won with the stablemate. I didn't even do that.
No.
They should have won with the stablemate. Anyway, gets in with 59 here. Caulfield is his go. Dry track is the go. So maybe this was the plan a little way out to go Sandown Zipping Classic meeting, move into Caulfield.
Yeah.
We've got an absolute Caulfield weapon. Let's bypass the Caulfield Cup because that's a race no one wants to win and win this one.
How good's Harry Coffey riding at the moment? Every time I turn on TV,
Well, hopefully he's still riding
He's
pretty
winning a
well.
couple of races. Like he's
Gets
flying.
his chance.
Yeah.
I guess that's
And he gets some good steers for not just his dad, but obviously a few others.
Well, the Mar
major
Eustace
stables. Like
crew,
they're pretty big fans. He won the Group 1 in Adelaide, didn't he? On Weir's horse or their horse or something, wasn't it?
Harry Coffey.
When did he win the
back
cup
in the
over
day.
there? A couple of years back he won it on something. What was that? Because what's he got? He's got degenerative
like
disease
motor
or something,
motor
neurone or something like that. Pretty impressive. I just noticed when I turned on TV, H Coffey again. I'm like,
he
he
won,
won
he won an
last year.
Oaks,
He's killing
didn't he? On a filly,
Yeah.
obviously.
it. Yeah, clearly.
Clearly.
We're full of good advice here today, Mark. So between my theories and Lloydie's, horse number one's the class in the race.
Fortunately, when you Google search something, they just don't give you the answer. You got to go to the bloody clickbait. Cystic fibrosis is what he has.
Yeah,
If you want to give them a shout out to donate your winnings after your rail theory goes. Even this I can't even find which horse he was on.
Yeah, it was the Oaks.
I don't know.
Lloydie's going to find that.
Oh, well, I'm going to fire off with Beans Bazinga, I guess then. Shall
Yep,
we
fire it
up?
off, mate. Fire it off.
Beans
Suppressor.
Suppressor.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
suppressor.
course. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
For Weir.
Superstar. Before we do quickly move on, I just wanted to make a note on this race.
Do you have to?
Vow and Declare.
Yeah.
Meets without a fight a kilo worse from Melbourne Cup. But every horse in this field carries 59 kilos. Meets at a kilo worse, but beat it home by 13 lengths. And it's 340 versus 550. I know the dry track.
Yeah, I
but like Vow and Declare's not a wet tracker either, so I mean I thought you probably a little bit short.
I'm more just
without a
concerned
fight.
where.
But you're not even on Vow and
to in the
Declare.
run.
So what are you making a case for?
No, I'm not, but I thought it maybe should have been a bit shorter.
So
Anyway.
that's 4 you've tipped. There's like 6 in this race, mate.
There's 10. Well, that's 4. That's the first 4.
You said the first 4.
We're
But you've left
we're pretty angry at each other today, aren't we?
What's
Mate,
that?
we just want
understand.
Group 1 racing in Queensland.
Yeah.
We've had enough of
I
this.
just want the Brisbane.
Put some
lost
races on for us, Queensland.
Man, I
Jeez.
lost Perth. Perth's
Bazinga, get us back on.
Beans
back-
Bazinga, race 6 at the GC, Miss Hipster, very keen. Form around Uncommon James and a couple of very classy ones last prep, sort of the state, stuff like that. It should be winning race 6. Miss Conteki for the sickos out there in the Winterbottom should be charging past the lead street, much to Mr. Moz's dismay. And in terms of around the grounds, I don't have anything at this stage, but
No,
check
well,
the
only-
socials, have no look at.
Only gave you the opportunity to give us a Bazinga, mate.
Yep.
I'm going to say Holyfield because I reckon you'll go the other one that you're pretty keen on. So Moz's must win. Holyfield, best horse in the race, just wins. Leigh Street for the Winterbottom.
Opposite to me for the Lloydie's Living Breathing, Pocket Full. Complete opposite. Race 4, that's the best bet of the day. And then, what are we? Valana in the Winterbottom.
Falana.
Yeah.
Should be a cracker. I think 6:45 local times. That's the only time that matters. Queensland time.
Queensland time.
Prime, and then what the Aussies play Saturday night in the soccer.
Yeah.
Which is probably go to bed, to be honest, because it's that boring to watch. Or
Tunisia.
just watch Winterbottom replays of Elite Street. Get the job done, mate.
Getting rolled.
Can you turn the soccer off and
That's right.
put the replay of Elite Street winning to Winterbottom
Exactly.
up, please?
And hot tip there, Mugs, when you get in a cab Saturday night and say, take me to Elite Street, I think it's out at Maruka or something in Brisbane, so
Okay.
maybe don't do that.
That's not far from me.
Well, there you go. It's easier to say than your address.
Yeah. Elite Street.
Where is it? Just type it in. No, into Sky Racing. Anyway, Mugs, see ya.
Cheers, Max.